Rico, where I'm in my home state of Delaware, they're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters.
The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters.
The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters.
Well, and the White House is trying to say that what President Biden was saying, they're putting an apostrophe there in supporters, saying it's the singular, I guess referring to the comedian, that supporters comments. I mean, it's hard to really look at that when you can listen to it for yourself.
Look, here's the October surprise. It just arrived. This is the basket of deplorables moment. That's what Hillary Clinton said in 2016 that tanked her campaign. Well, that's the Joe Biden, Kamala Harris moment right now. I am a little bit more cynical about this one, Sean, in the following way. It might look like Joe Biden's usual cognitive deficits kicked in, but the reality is we know his family is secretly probably rooting for Donald Trump, not Kamala Harris, to win because they feel really vengeful about how they were treated. So if you're in their shoes, you know that kind of comment is actually going to tank Kamala Harris. So we're going to put those kinds of motivations to one side. But regardless, it is a welcome October surprise because let's take a big step back. What's going on here? The wheels are coming off the car. They're spiraling. And now you see the accusations of the other side being Hitler or piles of garbage. You're going to hear a lot about threats to democracy in the next week. They are flailing, Sean. They understand Americans are not falling for their trick anymore. Donald Trump has a record that he's running on. They're frustrated by it. And I think it's, in some ways, a beautiful thing for our side to watch this completely come undone and turn the page on this ugly chapter of our history.
Joe Biden, hey, at this point, he's doing this on purpose, bro. When Trump said Joe Biden hates her, was he lying? Like, I mean, the proof is in the pudding itself, right? And I'm not even offended. He called me garbage. You know, I happen to support Trump this year. I happen to vote for him. My dad must be garbage because he's supporting Trump. He's voting for Trump this year. Like, really? Yeah. Have y'all not learned from Hillary Clinton? Have y'all not learned? Right? And the funny part is they're sitting here like being offended on behalf of Puerto Ricans. And this is the problem I have with liberals. Sorry. Liberals come to my comment section and say, Kenny, not all of us are like what you say. I'm sorry. Democrats. That's who I put the blame on. Democrats, right? So you got Democrats out here trying to campaign on this. Oh my God, he says such divisive things. He's calling people garbage. When the dude was a comedian calling an island that was known to have a trash crisis, right? Maybe he's making fun of that. Who knows, right? But, you know, these people, they go based on their own perception of things, right? Here's a Puerto Rican reacting to the comments. And this is a funny part. You want to call, we're calling the comedian, we're calling Trump supporters garbage because of their comments about Puerto Ricans. Here's a Puerto Rican responding to Trump's controversial rally.
Your comments like that, does that change your perspective about who you might vote for?
No.
That's not enough.
I'd rather see it to believe it, you know? Everybody can actually find the words.
Fernando Santiago already cast his vote for former President Donald Trump. Your comments like that.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing I said about when Trump talked about Haiti being an ish-hole country. I said, hey, kind of right. There's a reason why my parents left Haiti. If it was such a good country, my parents wouldn't have met here and I wouldn't have been born. If Haiti was such a great country. And this is the problem we have, is that anything Trump says, it's bad automatically, right? And just to end off my second point here before I go on to this next clip about how Kamala Harris, her supporters can blame a lot of things, but they can't blame racism. They can't blame sexism. They can't blame misogyny. Because in the day, the way that Kamala Harris is running her campaign, I predicted this a month ago, October 3rd. I got the date right in my head. I called it. I'm like, look, her habits die hard. Bad habits die hard. And here's a pro-Trump caravan that was formed in Puerto Rico. Sorry, mainstream media. Puerto Ricans ain't falling for your game either. Like, make it make sense. Make it make sense, liberal Democrat. You getting offended on behalf of people who have no offense about it, who was not offended by it. Look at this. In Puerto Rico.
Make America great again.
Make America great again. Like, you guys, the Democrats, y'all blow up everything for no ridiculous, like minute things. Y'all make some ridiculous stuff. And I'm gonna get back on the Joe Biden comments after this clip, but I have to show you this clip of that. Like, Kamala Harris and her campaign, whoever ran her campaign, set her up to fail. Let's take a look at this guy's take on the Kamala Harris campaign and see, and I'll highlight how I agree with him. Let's take a look.
I hate to be the skunk at the garden party here, but I think, you know, I plan political events for a living, and I think this was political malpractice to put her in front of this White House. 68% of Americans think that the country's on the wrong track, and they blame Joe Biden, and increasingly they're blaming Kamala Harris. By standing in front of that White House tonight, she's going to own all 68% of that disapproval. And, you know, I think it's a comfort reason. I think Northwest Washington, D.C. is about her best precinct in America. Everybody likes her there. She should have been in the Union Lodge in Philadelphia or Pittsburgh tonight. That would have done her a lot more good. And I also don't think that she did a lot for the Nikki Haley voters. They've talked a lot this week about that they were going after Haley voters. And I think the Haley voters had to be looking at this as like a Christmas present they opened up, and it was socks. You know, they got nothing new from her, nothing that wasn't in her convention speech, frankly. And I don't think this moves the ball for her here at the end.
Only thing I'm gonna tell Kamala Harris supporters is that y'all can't blame sexism, y'all can't blame racism, y'all can't blame misogyny, because look how your candidate is running her campaign. She was going after Nikki Haley Republicans, and she couldn't even get them. Make that make sense. The most liberal amongst us, the most liberal of conservatives, and you couldn't even convince them to vote for you because of how you ran your campaign. Everything that was within Kamala Harris's control, she dropped the ball. And you want me to trust the White House to her? Make it make sense. Joe Biden come out with the garbage remarks, and instead of covering it accurately, mainstream media is out here running cover. Last night, Jeff Bezos wrote an op-ed in the Washington Post describing why people don't trust the news. Today, the Washington Post lied about Joe Biden's comments, which is on video, where he called Trump supporters garbage, and you got people editing it, trying to put commas past supporter instead of saying supporters, right? If Trump called Biden supporters garbage, it would be front page news on the Washington Post. Jeff Bezos, see for yourself. Biden's story is buried, just like they did with the Hunter laptop story. White House, Trump campaign clashes over whether Biden called Trump supporters garbage. What? Trump campaign clashes? Clashing about what? In the intro, you saw the video, guys. What clash? It's on video.
Biden said that he's talking about the comedian, not supporters. What's your response?
My response is that the first statement from Joe Biden is the one that he truly believes. He does not think that people who disagree with him or his party, who support President Trump, are Americans. He thinks that they're garbage. That's a fact. And the reason, what I go back to is 4 years ago, around this same time, it was Joe Biden that went on the Breakfast Club, and he famously said that if you couldn't vote for him, then you weren't black. It's the same Joe Biden. Made the same type of statement 4 years ago. So this is consistent with who he is.
Let me just accept the most charitable framing of this, which you just gave. Why is he sitting in front of a laptop at the exact same moment Kamala Harris is out on his backyard trying to give the closing argument to her campaign? What in the world is he doing? Now, I don't accept your framing of it personally, because I actually do believe he, Harris, the Democratic Party, and most of their campaign do believe that half the country is garbage. They've also said people who go to Trump rallies are Nazis. And so it's pretty apparent the disdain with which they hold half of the country in.
It's not true. We've already litigated it in Kamala's speech tonight.
But as a tactical matter today,
No, but you don't just get to say
why in the
that.
world is Joe Biden giving remarks at the same
I
time?
I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
I like about the funny part, the lady, I forgot the lady on the panel, I forgot her name. She called herself the political girl. I don't see a girl there. I see a grown woman, but whatever, you can call yourself however you want. She goes, you can't make a framing like that. Like, she here lecturing Scott Jennings. And I'm like, you guys call people who align with Trump Nazis, fascists, right? You have no proof to make assertions like that, but y'all allowed to make it hand over fist without any pushback, just to show Trump's response to Joe Biden calling his supporters garbage. And Donald Trump says that it's even worse than what Hillary called his supporters in 2016. Oh, here he is.
That's terrible. That's what it says. That's what it says. So you have, remember Hillary, she said deplorable, and then she said irredeemable, right? But she said deplorable, that didn't work out. Garbage, I think, is worse, right? But he doesn't know, you have to please forgive him. Please forgive him, for he not knoweth what he said. These people, terrible, terrible. Terrible to say a thing like that, but he really doesn't know. He really, honestly, he doesn't. And I'm convinced that he likes me more than he likes Kamala.
And he turned around making a joke. A great response, by the way. I think that was masterful response by Donald Trump. He handled it. He made a joke out of it. He galvanized his supporters, right? The way Trump used it to his advantage, they know they messed up here. All the Democrats on this panel know they messed up here. And I want you to, this is a 2-minute clip, and then I'll end off the video with my final thoughts. And I want you to see exactly how this interaction is, because I need to see this panel in a longer context, because these people, it's hard for me to take CNN as an unbiased source when there's like reports. I think I just tweeted it out. Follow me on X if you haven't followed me on X. That's usually where you get a sneak peek in all of the things that I'm looking at, right? But a new study shows, new TV news study hits bias high, 78% positive versus 85% negative for Trump. Major networks such as ABC, CBS, and NBC have delivered more unbalanced election coverage in history, Media Research Centers finds, right? The study analyzed over 600 segments, and all of them show that they cover Trump unfavorably. They cover Harris favorably, right? And with that context in the background of this video, we'll react together to this panel and see where it leads us.
Say though, Bakari, he was in his house, the White House. He was in his house doing this, and the reporting is that there are places that he can be useful, but he's not everywhere like you might expect a sitting president to be for his vice president.
I don't know that I would expect this president to be everywhere in this moment. I mean, look, a critical element, any coach will tell you, any CEO will tell you, a critical element of running a team and winning is assessing the strengths and weaknesses of your team members and making sure you allocate them in the right way. Joe Biden has never been a big arena speaker. He's never been the most fluid speaker. And by the way, as someone who had a stutter growing up, it's very obvious to me that there's an apostrophe at the end of supporters there. He was referring to the garbage spewed by supporters, not simply the supporters themselves. But Joe Biden has...
It's hard to fake that when, if you go in the transcripts of his speech, and many people online has posted the transcripts of his speech, it clearly says that he said what he said. He didn't pause. He didn't do all of this stuff. And this is my problem. They try to control the framing, right? He put up a framing, and then the other liberals agree with that framing, and then they're going to try to build consensus on that framing. You see the game? I'm showing you the game, right? As much as people say, oh, Kenny, you're biased, you're this. My thing is, hey, I may be biased, but I teach you what I know so you can check my bias. You can find my bias. You could not be misled by my bias if I do mislead people. I give you the tools so you can come up to with your own mind. I say, here what I think. You think for yourself. You judge it for yourself. Hey, let me know in the comment section. That's how I go. That's how I roll. Because I wish mainstream media got as much feedback as I do on these videos, because I think they will be better for it. But I digress. Let's continue.
Has been on the campaign trail. He's best getting ice cream in Maryland like he was today. He's best showing moments of empathy in Arizona like he was last week. He's best with union folks as he was in Pittsburgh last week as well. You use people where they are best. You put Obama in a big arena, you put Michelle in a big arena, and you put Joe Biden in front of a bunch of union people doing retail politics.
You could make the argument that they would be fine if Joe Biden wasn't anywhere near a microphone between now and...
You see what I'm saying? Right? You're the moderator. Look at it. Look, I don't know about the guy with the red tie, but let's say he's neutral. There's 4 people on that panel out of 6 that are Democrat-leaning, Democrat supporters, right? And you don't think that this is not biased? You think this is fair? Lowly Tim, the only one I know who's staunchly Republican, surrounded by 5 non-Republicans, and you think it's a fair fight? If I saw 5 people beating up on one boxer, I'm like, how is this a fair fight? But we still make it work anyway, right? But this is why I call CNN bias. Because even when they're trying to not be biased, it's the same thing with The View. The View do the same thing.
Next Tuesday.
Yeah, let me just accept the most charitable framing of this, which you just.
Yeah. You guys see this, bro. You guys see this. Like you see the game that CNN's trying to play. You see it. And it's baffling to me that, we have, Kamala supporters, they coming out here, they're sitting here trying to lecture us, right? Because I still owe you guys one more clip. And this is what I'm talking about. So here's the rebuttal, right? On Harris's closing message. Here, see how Scott Jennings go for it, and then see how Political Girl attempts to destroy him. Let's go.
I was sort of taken aback by the absolute full-on attack on Trump. We've heard it all before. It sounded a little frantic to me, to be honest, this close to the end of the election. I took a few notes. Again, they're still pushing the lie about Project 2025. It doesn't matter how many times she says it. Donald Trump did not write it. He has disavowed it. This is not his agenda. He has his own campaign agenda. It is not Project 2025.
No, it's Agenda 47, which is exactly the same as Project 2025. And you can say that as many times as you want, Scott, but it's not true. So just to say here and say, I've said this a million times and it's not his plan. His plans are, that's a very smug way to look at me, my friend. The thing is that what we're doing is we're talking about what she's planning for us. And you're saying 100,000 people, she could draw that anywhere if it was in Washington, D.C.
Yes. Washington, D.C., the only reason there's wealth there, the only reason there's an economy there is because that's where the White House is. That's the capital of the United States of America. That's where all the political people are going. And all the political people, all these snooty, elitist people who think that, we're nobility in America. We know what's best for Americans. The Americans don't know what's best for them. This is why we have to take Trump off the ballot. But you want to call him threat to democracy, but who's the one trying to take candidates off the ballot, right? Keep candidates on the ballot, like keeping RFK on the ballot, even though he said he's withdrawing his name, but you're trying to remove Jill Stein out of the ballot because he hurts your candidate, your preferred candidate. This is that same Washington. Getting an endorsement by Washington is what hurt Nikki Haley in the first place. But here's the lady, all right, this is what I'm talking about. I don't know who she is. She's a content creator like I am, I guess. But I think I could have done a better job pushing back on Scott Jennings' comments there. But the idea that, Kamala Harris is just trying to keep the unite the country. Joe Biden said the same message 2020. Joe Biden's tried to unite the country. And I remember when I started on the internet, I reacted to say, this is divisive. Many people think this is divisive. And I was getting lectured by Democrats in the comment section. Fast forward 2 years. Fast forward 3 years, 4 years. Assassination attempts against Donald Trump. Then when I point out how the rhetoric from the Democrats demonizing Republicans, Trump supporters as extremists, Nazis, domestic terrorists, they were doing all these little commentaries on us. You can't make framings like that. It's permissible. But then she's sitting here pretending that, oh my God, Kamala Harris is sending a message of unity. She does have support. No, she don't. I don't believe so. Right? And you got shenanigans going all around the country with Pennsylvania, right? But people ain't going for it no more. They're like, nah, we done with this. We done with this ish. We done with your party.
You're totally overlooking what she has done here. She's brought together 100,000 people to say, I look forward to the future. I will be a president for everyone and not.
How many percentage of people in Washington vote Republican? Last time I checked, it's a blue ass city. Like, I'm just being honest. It's blue as hell. What are the percentages? So if you're just galvanizing more of your supporters, that's fine. I don't care. But to try to make it like out to be some big thing, when I just pointed out how her sitting in front of the White House solidifies the fact that, she's in office right now, which is the framing that Donald Trump and the Republicans has been pushing on the American people. And that framing is closer to reality than whatever the hell she's trying to do right here in this segment. I'll let her play.
Not just for president, for the people that I like. And if you look at it in contrast to what we looked at Madison Square Gardens, which said, hey, man, we don't like you, we don't like you, we don't like you, we don't like you, we're not for you, we're not for you.
That's a lie. Like, I just showed you how Puerto Ricans are reacting, saying, yes, you're calling out the crisis that's going on in our country. Yes, there is a trash crisis in Puerto Rico. But liberals don't care about it. They care about jokes instead of the reality of the situation. Just like when Donald Trump called Haiti a ish-hole country, they cared about the fact that Donald Trump insulted Haiti instead of looking at the reality like, Haiti's in a bad spot. Maybe we should do something about it. Instead, they wanted a virtue signal off of it. And look at all these assumptions, all this framing. And you're saying you're destroying Scott Jennings. If I do even a monocle of research, I could debunk everything this political girl is saying. She's not saying anything informative, really. She's just trying to cast a narrative and try to get you to believe in this perception.
And she's saying everyone is an American. Everyone will be taken care of. And to the point that we were making earlier, she's saying, here's what the future looks like under me.
Here's what the future looks like under me. I don't need to see what the future looks like under her. I'm already experiencing it. She was 33 times. She was the tie-breaking vote to pass a lot of these bills that many economists warned would cause inflation. And look what happened. Inflation's here, right? But you want to sit here and pretend that I don't know her. I don't know the future. She's a product. She's a proven product already. I already know what I'm gonna get with Kamala Harris. I know what I'm gonna get with Donald Trump. I prefer what I got under Donald Trump than what I'm getting under Kamala Harris as co-pilot. Because look at her campaign. In 2020, look how she ran her campaign. People said it lacked direction, right? Had no purpose. It was all over the place, right? It was called out being indecisive. 2020. You think I'm talking about her now? No, this is 2020. This was the critique against her campaign in 2020. So I know what I'm gonna get with her already, because habits, you fall to the level of your habits, not to your aspirations, to your habits. And based on Kamala Harris's habits, she doesn't have a proven record of actually bringing results to the American people. And when she does, being a tie-breaking vote for 33 bills, which I think is the most in vice president history, having the most tie-breaking votes, what did she do with that power? She put America in this position. And you want to act like some new, she's going to be someone new under the sun. You see why I don't believe liberals. You see why I don't believe Democrats, like politics girl. Because I feel like she's disingenuous. I feel like she's trying to trick me. She's trying to, she's trying to trick me into her position. Instead of informing me and say, hey, Kenny, here's the trade-offs. Because that's how I know. Life is about trade-offs. Pick your struggle. There's no perfect solutions, only trade-offs. And that's the most honest position you can do. Instead of telling me the trade-offs, you're here trying to tell me the other guy's worst thing since Hitler. And you expect me to just go along with it. I'm not emotional. I look, I'm black, not stupid. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I don't want this video to go any longer. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Do you agree with me? Do you see my angle? Don't see my angle? I'd like to hear your thoughts and perspectives in the comment section. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate you guys watching to the end of the video, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.